So, welcome in to episode 2 of the Swinging Bunt, a baseball podcast here with Joe again.
How's it going?
So this week we're recording on a Saturday, so some things are a little different than last week in terms of weekly predictions. Ain't quite gonna be filled out and things like that. But I'm gonna say something that I forgot to say last week. These little graphics that we got here, just so anybody doesn't get in a pansy, they are assisted by ChatGPT. So
Heavily assisted.
we're baseball talkers, not picture
Graphic
editors.
designers.
Yeah, graphic designers. That's the word. So I'm sure nobody cares, but put it
Just
out there.
just in case somebody wants to make a deal out of it.
Yeah,
We said our piece. It's
yeah,
not us, guys.
yeah. And a couple questions that we had that I got at least is if we were ever going to go webcam or live or things like that. I think eventually we might jump into a webcam. So, but we're kind of playing it out, seeing how things are going before we get into that. Another
Uh,
question I had is about I'm blanking now. Well, there's another thing that you guys Joe told me about is some of our stats that we talk about. You guys might not be super familiar with, so we'll try and explain them a little better. But if we mention a stat and you have no idea what the hell it means, drop it in the comments and we'll get back to you to help you understand it better.
yeah, we understand that a lot of our friends and family aren't the biggest baseball watchers, baseball nerds like me and Marvin are, which at the moment is a majority of our audience. So we'll try to do a better job of explaining some of the deeper, lesser known stats. Like you did a good job with FIP last week. My brother was telling me he had to give himself a refresher on 3 true outcome baseball. So that's on us. We could do a little bit better job of explaining some of those more niche stats.
Yeah, so some things we'll learn is just being first time podcasters, and
Mhm.
I'm sure there will be other things that come up too. So
Yeah, always let us know. We're here to improve. We're here to make good content. And if there's something that you don't like or think we could do better, if you know us personally, or even don't, let us reach out to us or put it in the comments, and we'll do our best to address it.
yeah, put it in the comments unless it's flaming us, because then the comments help whatever algorithms or whatever the hell YouTube does. So yeah, so we had a good first episode, and hoping to have another. Here's a little kick it out of the park with this one, or hit it out of the park with this one. Well,
Hmm.
so how'd the Guardians fared this week through Saturday? I know you still got 2 games this week coming up, but
Not good. Not good. Took one against the Brewers and lost our first pretty dramatically against the Astros last night. I'm hoping I still haven't the Guardians game haven't started yet today on Saturday, so hopefully we can bounce back and get ourselves a chance to at least win the series. That'd be pretty nice.
yeah, it's so unfortunately with for your weekly predictions from last week, we'll get into those later, but you have
They're
not
already out. Yep.
you're out the door with that. And
Mhm.
an idea I had later in the week is so we're just gonna do +1, 0, or if we get it right or wrong, and then we're gonna do +2 if we get each game exactly correct. So that's we'll get into those later, but that's what we're doing there. A little idea we had. So
Before we get too into all the MLB side of the baseball, I just had a fun, quick little story to share. Last night, I'm playing in a slow pitch softball league, and I mind you, this is a Friday night for fun league. There is no money on the line. I promise you this. And I saw I was I'm not saying I was a part of it because I played the outfield and I was far away, but I almost witnessed a full on fight on a slow pitch softball field.
the safety of the outfield is always key.
I had to witness a grown man on the other team be held back by one of his teammates from trying to charge one of my teammates on once again a slow pitch softball field.
How did that come up? Did he get hit by a pitch or something?
There was a big argument about how many home runs what team had hit, because there's a home run limit in this league, and that there was a very, very big argument about that. It ended up going not in our favor, so that home run turned into an out. And then at the beginning of the very next inning, when the other team was up to bat, the first pitch, they nailed our pitcher right in the chest.
Nice.
And if it wasn't already heated, it got very heated then and there.
You guys don't keep book to keep track of all that things in slow
We
pitch
normally
softball?
do. We normally do, but our normal book lady wasn't there, and our replacement apparently was not keeping track on paper. We thought we were doing a pretty good job keeping track very verbally, but apparently if it's not on paper, it doesn't count. So we learned our lesson.
Well, back in the day, in the youngin' days, it was always moms keeping track of the school book. And even though it's Father's Day tomorrow, shout out to all the moms for doing that stuff back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Someone's got to hold the team together.
Yeah, and speaking of fights, we witnessed a fight in one of our games a while back.
Oh yeah, and we mean a fight, and not one you would expect either. This was between a player and a head coach.
Yeah, and you would think, okay, a player got upset with getting pulled or something like that, but no, it was the player and the head coach were a father son.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes it worse or better. But yeah. The head coach was gone, believe it or not. The player was back the next game.
Yeah, that was probably one of the worst things I've ever seen on a baseball field.
It was one of the more embarrassing moments I've ever been a part of on a baseball field.
Being on that I mean, that team was not that was a bad team to be on.
Oh boy, we could talk stories for days about them. Oh boy.
Yeah, probably the worst team I think I've ever since at least middle school, probably the worst team.
For a travel team that we paid money to be a part of, it was not good.
Yeah, but those were some dark times. So yeah, the Tigers anyway this week they won 2 in a row against the White Sox, which if we're gonna win 2, we're gonna need to do that against the leading team in the division right now. So
I think those two. Actually, I haven't checked the standings since the Guardians haven't done so great this week, but I think that puts us back tied with them for the division.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that because we're in 4th place or wherever the hell it is.
Not a lot to track there.
I don't want to. We're slowly inching away and taking 2, winning the series. Still got 1 game to play, but that really goes a long way for trying to get back on track. And Scooble pitched yesterday and had a good outing. Not a Scooble outing, but it was a good outing, and there was a little fire in there. I don't know if you've seen any of that on Instagram.
I saw a clip of it. I did briefly.
Yeah, that was fun to seeing Scooble in his competitive mode again.
He's back and he's competing.
He's back and hopefully here for a while. But every day I see another thing on Instagram about him being traded, and he's on my team right now, and he's got 2 starts in, so I'm coming back and keep him coming. That's all I can say. Keep winning. He said it himself. If you want to quiet the trade talks, keep winning.
Yep.
That's really what
Make it so your team isn't in a position to trade you away.
Yeah. That's the big pick. Even he's not a part of any of my segments this week, and he wasn't a part of my segments last week. But something you haven't seen from Tigers fans in a while is we booed a player on our team.
Oh.
Jemai Jones.
Okay.
You've heard me. Yeah.
Yep.
He got a hit yesterday's game, and it was like his first hit in like 20-some plate appearances. And he came up to bat with 2 outs, bases loaded in the 4th inning, pinched hit for Kerry Carpenter, and struck out on 4 pitches.
Oh,
and he got booed coming up to the plate, and he got booed back to the dugout. And even Jason Benetti and the other analyst on the broadcast was like, you don't like to see it, but you kind of expect it with how his production has been. So
yeah.
But
it's one of those interesting ones.
Yeah, both times I've thought about bringing him up in segments, but there's just other things came up, and I wanted to talk about them more because I just be beating a dead horse with Jemai Jones.
It always seems like a manager just has a player that they really, really like, and the fans just cannot figure out why.
Well, I don't even know if it's that he really likes him. It's just, I mean, he's said it. He's playing the team as it was designed for. and the team was designed for Jahmai Jones to come in and pitch hit for Kerry Carpenter or Colt Keith or another lefty and hit. Last year he hit 980 OPS against lefties. We didn't expect him to do that again, but you didn't expect what he's doing. So maybe AJ's just throwing him out there and hoping that our head of baseball operations is finally tired of it and gets rid of him. So then AJ doesn't have to do it anymore,
Yeah, see
or
what
maybe
happens. See what you made me done.
yeah, just or maybe he really is in love with him and has to and just keep throwing him out there. I don't know. I'm kind of at loss for words with what's going on with Jahmai Jones now.
Huh.
But yeah.
Well, I did really briefly before we get into our scheduled segments. I wanted to highlight a little bit of the Guardians earlier in the week. We lost a series, but we had a decent series against the Brewers. And I hear it every time we play them. You hear somebody on the broadcast say that the Brewers are like the Guardians of the National League.
Uh-huh.
And I did a little bit more digging, and there's a lot of very, very similar stats between these teams. So as you know, Stephen Vogt is back-to-back manager of the year. Pat Murphy, the Brewers, also back-to-back manager of the years.
I didn't. I mean, I probably knew that, but I didn't really remember that.
Going into the series, the Brewers had 63 home runs and 70 stolen bases. The Guardians had 66 home runs and 69 stolen bases,
Nice.
within 3 home runs and 1 stolen base of each other.
Huh.
They're both at the bottom 1/3 of league salary. And here's one that I did a little bit extra digging on, which I actually found very surprising. The Brewers are at the bottom of the league on percentage of runs scored off of home runs at only 31%.
Well, I mean, yeah, they don't got a lot of thump, but yeah, it's interesting because you feel like they get with. I mean, not knowing the numbers, as much as they get on base and do what they do, there would be more guys on for they get more runs through homers and stuff
You'd
like
think,
that.
but I guess they just implement a little bit of guard ball and play the small ball, play good quality. Don't look for the big home runs and just score their runs where they get them.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the standings right now. The Brewers are 45 and 28. They're the third best team in the National League, and they would be the second best team in the American League if they were in the American League behind the Yankees.
Yeah, they're very hot right now. And once again, like I said last week, it's not entirely on their pitching. Their offense is just hot.
But it does help when you have Chase Mizorowski out there doing what he's doing. But he did. I did see he became human the other day and had a not a insane outing like he's used to.
Gosh, not insane. What a bummer.
Yeah, not a 15 strikeout, face the minimum 9 innings, 1 hitter. That absolutely destroyed me in fantasy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm having a miserable week.
I am having an up week, and I think I've got this one lot. It's Saturday, 5:00. It's still somewhat early, but I think I've got my fantasy matchup locked in the bag against Logan.
I don't think I've broken 70 points yet this week.
Yikes, that's tough to see.
Horrible.
No, we'll do a quick fantasy thing here since we're talking about it. I've scored 241 this week. Logan scored 159, and I still got I think 3 starters to go. I'm not sure what he's got. Yeah, I've got 3 starters yet to go this week, so that's a nice looking one for me. Good bounce back from getting 348 dropped on me last week.
Wow.
Yeah.
I currently against Evan am down 221 to 84. 84 points Saturday evening. Yesterday, Kevin Gossman put up negative 18. Tatsuya Omai had 19 on my bench.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, I'm looking at it, and just to look at the standings, and I'm 7th out of our 8-person league. Not great. And you are sitting at 5th. And looking at the point forward, points against, I have the second most points against me, but I have the least amount of points scored. So,
well,
and you're kind of middle of the pack for the most part on everything. You're a little low on points for, and a little high in points allowed, but
The fence robbers are just average.
yeah, the manual Class A sports books is not our little dig at the Guardians there with everything going on there. But yeah, we're not looking not our best season, but
Don't even get
still
me started on the manual class
uh,
A.
still a lot of baseball games played. I think we're in week 12 of the fantasy season, and there's 25 weeks, so we're not
Oh,
even halfway through.
okay. Still
So
time to turn it around.
yeah, playoff odds are not. I've got 15%. You've got 31, but it could be worse. Could be Phoenix. He's got 2%, even though he dropped 340 on me last week.
I've seen crazier comebacks. I saw the chart from the Gritty Kitties 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. 0.02%. Yeah, and I think on the broadcast today, I think Benetti mentioned there's a 17% chance for the Tigers this year. So there's still a big chance to make it if we want to turn things around.
Last time I checked, the Dodgers had a just around 30% chance of winning the World Series. How
Yeah.
does that make you feel?
We hate the Dodgers.
Yep.
We could go on about how much we hate the Dodgers, and but that could be a whole segment on our own. Dodger hate.
Whole episode.
Dodger hate. Yeah, a whole episode. Yeah.
Depending on how this trade deadline goes, it might have to be a full episode.
Yeah, because especially with if we end up trading, Scott Harris has made like 3 trades with the Dodgers in his Tigers tenure already. Maybe just 2. I think it would have been 3, but there was a whole debacle a couple years ago about a no trade clause, and did it end up going through? But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if a Tigers player goes to the Dodgers or 2. But we just let's just hope trade deadline is 5 weeks away, 6 weeks away, something like that, and we'll cover some of that stuff as they come. So
It makes me giggle when I scroll through Instagram and I see all these accounts post about probable suitors for the Guardians they're looking to buy this year.
Yep.
I mean, there's names like Jaron Duran, Christian Walker, Jordan Alvarez. That's just never, ever happening.
I mean, Jordan Duran, I don't know recently, but he wasn't having a good season.
No, he was not.
Jordan Alvarez is the front runner for MVP, so he's going to take an absolute haul.
And it won't be from the Guardians.
Yeah. And Christian Walker is a 35, 36-year-old first baseman.
Is he a righty?
Yeah.
No, we could use that. We could really, really use that.
Yeah, he's having a decent year. He's not hitting the cover off the ball, but he's not crap in the bed either.
He'd be a perfect spot for my weekly whiff pick, actually, Rhys Hoskins. A little spoiler.
So should we jump right into weekly whiff then?
Yeah, might as well.
There we go. So weekly whiff, episode 2.
All right. Like I said, I am highlighting Mr. Rhys Hoskins, the Guardians' one and only offseason sign for a whopping $1.5 million.
That was literally your only offseason signing?
Literally the only offseason signing that the Guardians made. At least any of
major league
value.
deals that way. Yeah.
And Rhys Hoskins is doing bad. He's just doing bad. There's really no good way around it. I can't even find myself a silver lining here. You look at his just 2026 stats right here. He is batting under 200 once again as a first baseman. He is striking out just under 30% of the time. Maybe your one silver lining you can come up with is that 16.4% walk rate. But besides that, the numbers are just absolutely abysmal. He has negative WAR, and you're not going to get a lot of WAR positionally as a first baseman.
Yep.
But you would just hope that they could hit a ball every once in a while. And when you're batting 180, that's just not what you want to see out of a first baseman.
Yeah, first basemen are hit first, and if you're not hitting, then that's funny that my weekly lift last year was a right-handed first baseman, and your is a right-handed first baseman this year.
That is a position that you do kind of have to spend some money on. And from the Guardians' defensive first mentality, they just can't find it in themselves to spend money on a bat only person.
Yeah.
And I get that, but I mean, surely we could find somebody better than Reese.
Yeah.
You look at the splits, weekly whiff his last week, he's been batting 100.
Yikes.
21 plate appearances, 9 strikeouts.
That's a lot of striking out there.
It's
too.
really bad. It's really, really bad.
Yeah.
If I switch over here to his baseball savant page, I mean, he is under half in the league in almost all stats, except for you see he's doing pretty good at chase and whip percentage. He's not chasing or walk percentage. I mean, which I mean that's good. He's finding a way to at least get some value, be it getting on base with a 343 on base percentage. But once again, your first baseman is supposed to be a bat that's supposed to hit the ball and hit it well, and he's not. You see, he's up here at barrel percentage. He's pretty high on that.
11.4%.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Baseball Savant is a page we love around here. It basically takes a bunch of sabermetric stats and like puts them into it like categorizes the entire league. So your percentile. So looking at Hoskins right here, he is 94th percentile chase rate. That means he does not chase at all.
Yeah, this puts it on a percentile to the rest of the league.
Yeah,
obviously, you see his expected batting average being 1 percentile. That means he is
the worst.
The worst. He's the worst in the league with expected batting average. You see a lot of, for our YouTube viewers here, you see a lot of red, very good, blue, very, very bad. If we want to take a quick little detour just to look at what a good player's baseball savant page, this is Shohei Ohtani's, and for our listeners online, there is a lot of red.
Yeah, 99, 96, 98, 96, 96, 97, 96 percentile in the first, I don't know, however many 7 numbers that was. Yeah. But yeah.
Obviously, this isn't a fair comparison. This is Rhys Hoskins to Shohei Ohtani, but this is what a good baseball savant page looks like to our viewers.
Yeah, and you can just look up baseballsavant.com and you can search up any player in the league this year and see that type of stuff, and you can look at last year's percentiles, compare them to this year, and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and if you enjoy baseball and you like stats, you like numbers, I promise you can get stuck on this page for hours and hours and hours.
Yep.
Going back to Rhys Hoskins, though, when we compare him to the rest of the Guardians, I mean, once again, the only thing he's doing good at is walk and chase rate. I mean, defensively is also very miserable. He's not even qualified for outs above average. He has 1% arm strength, which doesn't mean a lot for a first baseman. But when you put these in order of the Guardians team, for a lot of the offensive stats, he's at the bottom, just above. I mean, he has almost the same expected slugging as Stephen Kwan, 4-time Gold Glove outfielder Stephen Kwan, and our first baseman is almost slugging the same as him. Yeah. Not what you want to see.
No, and Rhys Hoskins was last weekend when we were at the game. He was thrust into left field, and all the Tigers had to do was bloop a ball over to left field and could have scored some runs. But
I was going to mention that. I have once again another Guardians defensive page pulled up here. Rhys Hoskins is at the bottom with a -5 run or fielding run value.
Gross.
And I was going to point out the fact that you look over here, he has 3 lone innings as a left fielder. Yeah, we got injured and that game hurt. There was three big Guardians went down in one game with Chase DeLauder, Jose, and Angel Martinez, who I learned the other day actually broke his ankle fouling that ball off himself.
And he finished that at bat too.
Yeah, he did.
Did DeLauder, is he out still, or did he?
With a bruised rib. He's on the 10-day.
I didn't see that. Yeah, so he lost 10-day with him. He lost Jose for 2 to 3 months and broken ankle. I don't even know how long that's going to be. That's a couple months probably.
That was a painful day for the Guardians.
Yeah, but you still managed to come away with the win because the Tigers couldn't do anything.
Yeah, we'll take what we get.
Yeah.
So that's all that I had for the weekly whiff. It pains my soul to talk about weekly whiff majority of the time. You know, I love the Guardians. I watch the sport because I love this team. But Reese Hoskins, he hasn't found his way into my heart yet, so I have no problem dogging on him.
Yep, yep. So my weekly whiff, I'll start off by saying how last week my weekly whiff was Torkelson, and in his very first at bat since the podcast dropped, he came up with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and he struck out. So it was right in line with kind of what I was saying, and you hate to be right anytime you're talking in the weekly whiff section, but it's the way it goes.
Yep.
So first off, for my weekly lift, I got mine are a little different than last year, a little different than yours. We're gonna start off. My first one is Wesley Perez. He after the game on Tuesday, I believe, he was stretching out, doing post game stretches or whatever he does, and he hit himself with an exercise band in the face, and he is
No,
on the injured list with an
no.
injury. He didn't even fly back with the team when he got injured. He stayed in Houston for whatever that issues that caused him. So he is another on the long list of Tigers injuries. And I mean, you don't ever want to hope for a player to get injured, but Wetzel wasn't doing a whole lot. He was having a good June, which sucks because he was putting it together a little bit, but oh, weak injury by exercise band was not on my bingo card for
Yeah,
this
I can't say
this
I've
season.
ever heard that.
And my other one is MLB All Star voting. They came out earlier this week with the rankings for the voting. And last week we talked about how Dylan Dingler is one of the best catchers in baseball.
All around, yes,
All around.
defensively and
And
offensively.
we even said how Shea Langeliers is the guy who's just slightly above him when it comes to hitting, but Dylan is by far the best one when it comes to fielding. And Dylan Dingler is fourth in the All Star voting right now. And I have
Really?
this, yeah, for catchers. I have the graphic here. Let me pull it up where it shows those things. Pictures, screenshots. So here it'll show you catchers. Shangle Langeliers is first with 715,000 votes. I don't know how he has so many votes. I mean, yes, he's having a good season. His batting is not a whole lot better than Dylan Dingler's. Alejandro Kirk, Adley Rutschman, Dylan Dingler. We talked about Adley. His bat has been good, and he's got the name recognition of being a first
Mhm.
overall pick.
Yeah.
But what I really want to point out is Alejandro Kirk. He is second in catcher voting. I want to ask you a question. How many plate appearances do you think Alejandro Kirk has this year?
I'd like to hope at least 300.
He's been injured. He has 20 or
No.
he has 43 plate appearances this year.
What the crap?
He trash that 44. He got one in today. So he's got 44 plate appearances on the day. You want to know how many RBIs Dylan Dingler has?
Probably more than 44.
He has 53 RBIs on the year, and he is fourth in All-Star voting. In Alejandro Kirk is second. Dylan Dingler is going to be an All-Star. MLB, voting is for some things, but then MLB throws other guys in there.
Mhm.
They're going to recognize Dylan Dingler as an All-Star, and they're going to put him in the All-Star game. But he won't. If he doesn't get top two, then you don't get to vote on him for him to start. Is how that works. So he might not start the All-Star game. And it is just kind of absurd that Alejandro Kirk, who has 43 plate appearances on the day, has 300,000 votes and is the second voted catcher. And that basically brings me to talk about how the Blue Jays have a catcher, Alejandro Kirk at second, Ernie Clement first at second base,
Wow.
Vlad first at third base. At third base, they have second. At shortstop, they are second.
Oh my
At dozen
goodness.
hitters, they are second. And outfielders, they do not have an outfielder in the top six, but they
Well,
are
but
here
there's three right there.
8,
Yeah.
9, 10. And that basically
Miles Straw getting that many votes, as somebody who had Miles Straw on his team for a couple of years, that guy is not an all-star.
And basically, that brings me to believe is they're the lone team in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Canada is voting for most of Canada. I'm not going to say all of Canada. Most of Canada, I'm guessing, is Blue Jays fans. So they have an unfair advantage of. And Blue Jays have not been a good team this year either.
No.
The Blue Jays are, standings wise, they are 37 and 39. They're below 500. So it's not like they have a bunch of. For winning a lot, so they're in the media a lot. They did make it to the World Series last year, so that
Yeah.
helps as well. But when you are leading, you have your first or second in all positions other than outfield. Come on, I didn't look into any of these other guys' stats. I'm sure Vlad's not even having a good year. I don't think.
No, he's not. I mean, he's having a good year, but he's not having a Vlad year.
Yeah, and Nick Kurtz is fourth, and he's having an insane year. We could go if we looked into these more, we could find a lot more scenarios like a catcher, but Alejandro Kirk, 44 plate appearances, less than at RBIs that Dylan Dingler has, and he is second. So
Ernie
weekly,
Clement, by the way, for our listeners out there, has over 3 times as many votes as the next closest person, being
yeah,
Ezekiel Duran of the Rangers.
yeah, and it's ignore that. But yeah, it's I don't know if MLB needs to change how they do All-Star voting or what, but it should not be like that. They shouldn't. Something
You
needs
know,
to change, or
at the end of the day, being an all-star, it's not the most important accolade that you can have as a player, but still, when somebody's in that conversation for Cooperstown at the end of their career, it gets brought up. Like, this
yep,
person was a so many time all-star, that and if it's multiple times, that is a big driving force for why they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
yep, yep,
And at the end of the day, it's fan voted.
yeah. I don't know if it's always been fan voted or when they switched to fan voting, but I don't know. Them will be normally, guys that deserve it. They'll throw them in because of a vote. Somebody that got voted in was injured, or they don't carry just 2 catchers on the All Star team. They carry
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4. I don't know what the number is, but MLB tries to even it out for players that actually do deserve it too. So good for MLB for that, I guess. So on to my rank report. It's also going to be pretty simple, pretty different. It's going to be Colt Keith. He had on Monday, no, it'd been Tuesday. He had a 3 homer game, and
Mm-hmm.
he is just the 21st Tiger to ever have a 3 homer game.
Really?
And every time somebody has a 3 homer game, you can be like, yeah, Colt Keith was a guy to do it, and Miguel's done it. Guerrero's done it like 2 times, and you could go down the list. He's always gonna be on that list now. And Colt Keith has had he's a guy we wish to have be having a better year. He's not having he's 690 OPS. It's not great. It's not terrible. There's a lot worse on the Tigers team
Yeah,
right now.
normally 700 is about the line where you start to actually respect it.
Yeah, I think 720 or somewhere in there is league average or something.
Oh, okay.
Something close around there. So 690 is not bad, but we really hoped to see a big leap coming from Colt Keith this year because he was he got an extension by the Tigers before he debuted in 2024. He was a top 20 or 25 prospect in baseball before he debuted. He had a
Really?
really good minor league career, and we were expecting some big things from him. And it's been slow coming. He hasn't been bad. He hasn't been good. He's a guy that the Tigers do really need to come on this year, and the length of his long term contract that he got.
Now I
But
see his Savant page has him as is that third base, or is that his? Oh no, that's his number. Okay, never mind.
he is third base. He's played a lot of third base, a lot of DH. He's played first base a little bit, but he
Oh,
came
really?
up playing second base. Well, he came up playing third base in the minors, and he got hurt when had a shoulder issue, and they kind of moved him to second base. And he played second base in his first year pretty much exclusively. 2024, he played 1,000 innings, almost 1,100 innings at second base. His only position in 2024. 2025 is spread out: first base, second base, third base, kind of all. And there was DH in there too. And this year it's been pretty much third base and DH.
Hmm.
So he's not a bad fielder. I mean, outfielding he's -1 range, which it's not it's not bad. He's middle of the pack for his fielding run value. He's 46 percentile. He was not known for his defense. He was always a bat first guy, and you need a little bit more bat out of him. But a three
Yeah.
homer game you hope can help spark that into a better year. So that might short and sweet. My we might be on bunts a little more in depth than what my last two were. So what do you got for yours?
Mine also is a little short. There wasn't a lot of really great things. We did have a few really good pitching outings, especially from this guy shown in this highlight. Parker Messick had a fantastic game against the Brewers. But as I said earlier, the Guardians, we lost 3 dudes to the IL in one single game. So when that happens, you got to fill the spot. And just this week, we called up not only longtime prospect in Daniel Espino, but also outfield prospect Kahil Watson made his debut. And I just have one quick little play to show you from his debut game. I don't know how well this is going to translate here, but a nice little catch. Nice little welcome to the league catch there. 100
Yep.
miles off the bat, only 3 seconds of air time. You put that in the catch probability. It puts it at 30%, which is actually a lot higher than I thought it would be. But when you got a lefty pushing the ball or a righty pushing the ball, he's probably playing way in. So I guess it makes sense that is only a 30%. But yeah, it's good to see some nice defense out of a rookie in his debut game. So that's unfortunately really all that I have for my weekly rake. But
Yeah.
welcome to the league, Gil Watson.
Yeah, I'm not sure how catch rate gets kind of calculated exactly, but I don't know if it has to do with positioning or like if it's standard straight up positioning, if that's where they started, or if they actually look at with where he started specifically. I don't.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I'd like to say that it only really takes into account the launch angle and exit velocity for the most part.
Yep.
But yeah, 30% just seems like it should be a little lower because once again, that ball was only in the air for 3 seconds and he covered 37 feet in that 3 seconds. That's a good jump.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's times where like you see Riley Green for the Tigers out in left field, you see him making a diving catch all the time. He's making diving catches quite a bit, but if you look at it, it's not really all that crazy because a, he's like an average outfielder to maybe slightly above average, but it's his jumps like aren't the greatest. So he's
Mhm.
making up for it in the diving catches, but some other guys would just catch those on the run because of the jump.
Mhm.
So that could be the jump could have been a little off to help maybe with that too. So
It could have been, yeah.
the dive is always it's a fun play to watch. We both made a lot of diving catches in the field in our day, and those are
You made one spectacular one against me that I remember, and I believe you remember very fondly.
yeah, that was yeah, that hurt. Uh, Going into backstory, it was a Sunday. The team kind of came together senior year to have. We were playing to going to play at Archibald the next day. The biggest we were, I think, picked 1-2 to win the league that year. I don't remember who was 1, who was 2,
Mhm.
but we were kind of getting a little extra work in, and I was in the outfield, and Joe was doing some batting practice, and I went to catch his ball, and I can still picture it to this day. The ball coming, and me, I like it was to my I was running. I was in left field and I was running towards the corner, and I like dove slash jumped slash corkscrewed and caught the ball and landed right on my collarbone and snapped that thing. Like
Let me tell you, it was a spectacular catch. He was entirely horizontal, perpendicular to the ground, like 3 feet, 4 feet up in the air. It was spectacular. Unfortunately, resulted in 8 screws?
yeah, plate and 8 screws surgery, and cost me the rest of my senior year up until I ran the bases in our second to last game in the tournament. And unfortunate way to end the. I tell people I would have went pro if I didn't break my collarbone in my senior year.
You'll never
But
know now.
yeah, that's true. Never know. As Coach Roofer once said, you never know.
Gotta lay out.
Yep.
Erase the doubt.
So beyond the bunt, do you want to go with your beyond the bunt, or you want me to?
Yeah, sure. I can run with this one.
All right.
This one, like I said, I do have a fair bit more to go into. So the Guardians so far this year have made one. You could call it big, call it whatever you want. It's on brand. I'll say that. Big signing, and that is for two-time Gold Glove catcher Patrick Bailey.
Big trade.
And you get what you expect from Patrick Bailey. Once again, I have his baseball savant page pulled up, and he is under 1/3 percentile in almost every offensive stat. And he's batting 165 on the season.
Below
that is
the Mendoza
really,
line.
really bad, comfortably below. But then you scroll down a little bit, you look at his catching stats, and they're pretty good.
Yeah,
they're up there in the top 10 percentile for the most part in all the stats. But the one thing that I really wanted to look at is, although these are very good, he's up there in top 2 of the league. I'll get into this in pop time, but not quite what you would expect from Patrick Bailey.
Yeah,
look at that block. Last year he was in the 80th percentile on blocks above average. This year he is in the bottom 7. And it's just, if we're gonna make a trade for a defensive first catcher, they've got to be blocking the balls too. They got to be doing everything, especially if you're not going to be hitting. They've got to be perfect defensively, in my mind.
Yeah.
And then we scroll down here a little bit. We look at some of his past years, defensively mainly. And once again, you look at his years on San Francisco when he won those Gold Gloves. He is, you see that red number for all of our viewers, is spectacular defensively. 31% caught stealing on average his last 3 years behind the plate. That's very, very good.
That is good.
As a runner, you would hope to be safe 75% of the time. So as a catcher, anything above 30% caught stealing is really good. But you see what he's doing for the Guardians. He's actually doing really good. He's got a 45% steal rate, or caught stealing rate.
Yeah, 11 attempts. He's caught almost half of them.
I move over here to, this is his 2025 stats. He is second in the league pop time. Pop time, for everybody who doesn't know, that is counted as the time from pop to pop. Pop of the catcher's glove to pop of the second baseman's glove. And getting that ball out in actually tied for first in the league, 1.86 seconds with JT Realmuto and Andy Rodriguez. That's good, and that's a good arm.
Yeah, especially when you got arm strength to go along with the great pop time. That's a great combo.
And that is still sticking true if we move this over to 2026. 5 in the league, but the exact same. So tied for the other 4 guys ahead of him. Once again, JT Realmuto, he is, I mean, that's been his thing, right? Yeah. I believe he's a platinum glover a few times over. That's what he does. Moving over here to throwing. This is just specifically the arm. Going back to his last Gold Glove year in 2025, he's top 3 percentile in the league for his arm. Once again, if we move this over to 2026, update this, top 7 in the league. That caught stealing rate is up there with some of the greats. That's a 35% caught stealing rate so far on the year 2026.
Control of the run game is good. Big thing this day and age with the more steals with the disengagement rules and pitch clock and all that.
Yeah, more steals, but always relatively. You go back 20 years, and if you had a dude leading the league with 50 stolen bases, I'm like Ricky Henderson would be rolling in his grave.
Yeah,
You know.
that's true. Yeah, Ryan Acuna's what 70 steals or whatever he had the other year. Was that the first
Mhm.
year of pitch clock or was that the year before? I think that was the first
I
year of
want to
pitch
say it
clock.
was the year before even.
Mm. But yeah, that
I
was
could be wrong.
yeah. But
But in this day and age of baseball, the stolen base isn't as valued as high as it once was. So a defensive first catcher, especially when once again he's not blocking, when his defensive prowess comes from stopping stolen bases, that just doesn't quite hold the weight that it once did in this game.
yeah, but that seems like a guard thing to do for sure.
hmm But
But
here is one thing that I did want to look at is his framing value, right?
hmm
If I go back here to 2025, do catchers for all teams, update this. Once again, his Gold Glove year in 2025. Scroll down a little bit. There he is, right at the top. He was
mm,
the best framer in the league.
yeah,
Framing, for those
by
who
a
don't
long
know, is
shot.
yeah, by a very long shot. He had 27 catching framing runs, which is Baseball Savant's way of putting a numerical run value to how many strikes your catcher steals outside of the zone. So yeah, first in the league, framing run value. And then we switches ahead to 2025. We move this to the Guardians because otherwise I'd be scrolling a long time to find Patrick Bailey, who is currently negative on
Hmm.
catcher framing runs.
You wonder how much the ABS is kind of getting into
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. Which was my next talking point, in fact.
Oh.
Yeah. We go over here to Baseball Savants. Yes, there are stats on the ABS challenge system, guys.
Love it.
It's beautiful. But we look at this is just for the fielding teams, right? Because obviously we don't care about batters. We're talking about catchers right now. And you got to scroll down a little bit. This is just the amount of challenges. Guardians have only challenged 78 times, which I'm assuming this is majoritively catchers. You don't see pitchers challenging a lot.
No, I
Either
saw
way.
the Tigers challenge today actually, and won it
How'd
as a
that go?
pitcher. Won it as a
Really?
pitcher. Yep.
Huh.
It was on like a back pick. Catcher threw it to first, and the catcher was viciously tapping his head to make sure they saw it in the 2-second window because everyone was paying attention to the back pick. And yeah, it was a strike. The ball overturned to a strike.
Nice. How'd the pick go?
No, I
Oh,
think it was an error, and I think they got
oh,
to second base.
not worth it.
No.
But if we go ahead and sort this by percentage once again, this is basically by catchers. Guardians are in the bottom third of the league. Only 51% of their challenges, I'm assuming as catchers, are being won.
Who's at second?
Oh yeah, that's Detroit. Yeah, when I was looking through these stats to try to find some stuff on Patrick Bailey, I was looking through a lot of catcher stats today, and my golly, Dylan Dingler was at the top a lot.
Yeah, and brings back to the point of All-Star voting MLB. If you're go vote for Dylan Dingler.
Go
You can
vote.
look up MLB
Yeah.
All-Star voting and you can vote.
If
for
you're a
him.
National League fan I know I am an American League fan. I most of the time don't even vote in the National League because I just don't know what's going on over there. Give us a favor, throw some Tigers and Guardians on. Why don't you?
Yeah, we deserve it, even though we're not having the greatest seasons. Your
It makes us
season's a
feel
little
good.
better, but yeah.
And then here's another big one. You see the batted ball flip, which is basically how many walks have your team eliminated due to challenges. You got to scroll all the way down. The Guardians are tied for bottom in the league with just 2 on the season. So that brings me over to my next point here of these are player specific ABS challenge stats. Yes, it's not just for the teams, ladies and gentlemen. It gets to player specific. So you see, we look down here for ninth. I ordered this backwards, so this is ninth on the bottom of the league.
Ninth worst.
Yes, Patrick Bailey. You see, he has a lot of expected overturns, which means actually, surprisingly, he's getting a lot more challenges than the average catcher is.
Which
But when
is for the
you
frame. You can look at the framing for that because he's framing better. But yeah, that's so they have to challenge more.
yeah. But then when you when you try to equate that into a run value, he's actually negative, bottom ninth on the league, which leads me to believe that yes, even though he is getting a decent amount of challenges, those challenges don't really mean anything. If we scroll over here to the batted ball flips and the K flips, basically how many strikeouts have you earned or walks have you eliminated due to your ABS challenges, you see he has 0 walks earned and only 5 strikeouts earned. Which comes back to my point of, yes, he may be getting a lot of challenges, but they're just not beneficial to your team.
Yeah, and for defensive first catcher, you hope a little bit more. I mean, everyone's still learning the ABS, but we are almost halfway through the MLB season, and you would think maybe they would start to figure it out a little bit more.
And my last point, the real absolute cherry on top to all of this, we traded for Patrick Bailey, 2-time Golden Glove. He's not quite what you would hope for defensively. He's definitely not what you would hope for, only batting 167 on the season. And what really, really hurts is down in AAA, we have a catcher, Cooper Ingle, who just himself last week had a 3-homer game, is batting just under 300. And he's currently blocked behind not only Patrick Bailey, but Bo Naylor, if you want to count him, David Fry, if you want to count him, and Austin Hedges, if you want to count him. That is 4 catchers ahead of this poor kid dominating AAA.
Well, is he good with the glove, or is he more of a bat first guy?
He's a very, very bat first guy.
Well, that's not the guard's way. You got to be able to feel.
Probably going to trade him at the deadline.
Yeah. But, I mean, catchers are not a bad thing to have a plethora of. But, yeah.
No, they get hurt. It's a rough position. You couldn't pay me millions of dollars to step back there, man. You got to be a maniac to win.
Yeah, imagine a Terry Scoobel fastball or changeup coming at you. No, thank you.
And then a dude swinging a bat right in front of it.
Yeah. Nope. And then a guy at first base trying to steal second at the same time.
It's the hardest position in the sport, without a doubt. And it's demanding. You get hurt, you get beat up, and that's just a given.
Yep. Some good numbers there about Patrick Bailey, your big trade that you guys had made, and you traded one of my favorite nicknames is a guy with the nickname Tugboat to the Giants.
Yep.
To get him, and not really moving the needle in my opinion in terms of trades, but it's more than Tigers have done.
Yeah, well, like we said earlier, there's still 5 weeks left until the deadline, so let's see what happens. The Guardians historically don't get a lot done unless we're selling.
Yep.
It's hopefully this year we're not.
Yep. So my numbers for Beyond the Bunt are they're not quite super in depth, but I wanted to talk about the Tigers bullpen. So let's backtrack a little bit. We have Will Vest last year. We traded for Kyle Finnegan at the deadline. And this year, we signed Kenley Jansen. So last year, looking at those 3 guys, Will Vest in 2025 had 68 in 2/3 innings. He had 23 saves, 7 blown. Kyle Finnegan, 57 innings, 24 saves, 7 blown. And Kenley Jansen, 25 innings, 29 saves, 1 blown. That's combined 184 in 2/3 innings, 66 saves, 15 blown. So that's basically a blown save every 12 innings or so.
You'll take that. It doesn't feel good blowing saves at all, but it is inevitable, and that's a pretty decent rate.
Yeah, that's a 18.5 blown save rate, and it's somewhere here along. Let me find it. Right here at the bottom, the blown percentage in 2020. Oh, that's 26. Wow. 25 was 28.8. So they were between the 3.
So that's a very good rate.
Yeah, between the 3 of them, they were 3% or 10% better. So this was not before Saturday's game because I was updating it as we were going. So the 3 of them are 3-headed monster that we were supposed to have. They've made this number look better the last 2 games because we collected 2 saves the last 2 games. So in 2026, this is just the 7th, 8th, and 9th in extras because there's 3 guys, they all can't get the 9th inning. So in Will Vest, he was hurt this year. He was on the IL at one point.
Mm-hmm.
In 23 and a third innings, 6.17 ERA, 3.78 FIP. So the FIP is a lot better than the ERA. We talked about that last week with Jack Flaherty. He's had 1 save, 4 blown saves. He's had 5 opportunities. Kyle Finnegan, who has been healthy all year, 27.2 innings, 1.95 ERA. That's really good. 4.76 FIP. He's walking
Ooh.
an atrocious amount of guys. He's somehow been getting out of it, but I think he's inherited a lot of runners, which means he's come in with guys on base and he's let a lot of them score. I don't have those numbers pulled up, but he's let
That
a
makes
lot of
sense.
those score.
And
He's
for our not baseball fans, when you inherit runners, those do not go onto your earned run average. They go on to the pitcher who allowed them on.
Yep.
So if you get called into the game with bases loaded and you let up a grand slam, your ERA is only taking a hit for that 1 home run, not the 3 other dudes that scored.
Yep. So he's got 1 save and 4 blown saves. So the same as Will Vest. So they've had 10 opportunities between them two, and they've gotten 2 saves and 8 blown saves. Kelly Jansen, who is one of the best closers of our generation,
A Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. In 18 innings, he's got a 4.0 ERA, a 5.21 FIP, 9 saves, and 4 blown saves. He just collected the last 2 days, today and yesterday, he's gotten 2 saves. So his numbers were looking a lot worse prior to this, with 7 saves versus 4 blown saves. So looking at that, that would be 69 innings between all 3 of them.
Nice.
11 saves, 12 blown saves. That's a blown save every 5.75 innings.
Oof.
And before that, it was 9 saves before the last 2 games. So it's gotten better, but still not great. 23 opportunities. That's between the 3 of them. Our 3-headed monster, who was supposed to lock down the back of our bullpen with Will Vest, Kyle Finnegan, and Kelly Jansen. That's a 52.1 blown save rate.
Ouch.
In 23 opportunities. And I looked at all of our box scores. That's not including these 3, but in general, the Tigers bullpen have blown 18 leads or ties going 7th, 8th, or 9th or extras. And that's not including the games where we've come back and won in those games, which has not been many. But the games where we've lost, where we've been leading or tied going into the 7th, we've blown 18 leads, 16 saves. That's second in baseball. If we would win 2/3 of those 18 blown leads, we would be sitting at 43 and 32.
Wow.
We would be
difference.
11 games above 500. The MLB average blown save rate is 40% in 2026, so it's up from last year by a good bit. That was just a Google search, and Google AI brought it to me, so I did not fact check that, but I would think it's pretty close. I don't know how it would not come up with that number correctly. So that's just to say the Tigers' back end of their bullpen was supposed to be locked down. Three guys that combined for 184.2 innings and had 66 saves last year. This year they have blown more saves than they have saved. Not good. And this is a stat that I found just by looking. If you look at Fangraphs, they have this thing called clutch. And it says how much better or worse a player does in high leverage situations when he would have done in a neutral environment. So if like nobody out, nobody on base. So so I would think generally the back end might see that a little bit more. I don't know. But the Tigers are second worst.
Oh.
The pitching has not been clutch at all. You want to look at who the best teams is? Cincinnati and the Guardians are here at second.
And that's a big gap. That's a really big gap.
Yep. I don't know quite how it's calculated or what it quite means, but I see the numbers, and even not knowing exactly what they mean, I can tell it's not good.
Yeah.
And since when I saw that for pitchers, I'm like, I wonder what the Tigers batters are doing. So I looked, and if you look at clutch for the batters, the Tigers are fifth worst
Mhm.
with negative 1.68. So the pitching has not been clutch, and the batting has not been clutch. And the Tigers are however many games under 500 right now because of it. They're 12 games under 500.
Yeah. I mean, ideally you're just never put in a situation where you have to be clutch
Yep.
and you just stay out of those high leverage situations. But at the end of the day, it is inevitable. And I know you can't judge a player or a team strictly on how they do in these quote clutch situations, but when you're consistently underperforming, that does say something.
Yep.
And one quick little tidbit that I wanted to say about you talking about your bullpen
Yep.
that reminded me of the fact that my brother he played baseball growing up, not a ton. He wasn't as into it as we were. I think he stopped playing around like middle school. But in the last few years, I've gotten him to be a big time Guardians fan. Like I said last week, his favorite player of all time, I say all time like he hasn't been a fan for only 3 years, but is Stephen Kwan because he loves the real Guardian ball, mentality that Stephen Kwan just personifies.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I got him to be a Guardians fan just about 3 years ago when the Guardians bullpen was statistically the best almost in history with just around a 2 ERA for our entire bullpen.
Yep. Led
And
by the Manual Classic Sportsbook.
yeah, yep. Enough of that. But we got used to watching baseball games, and you would bring a lead into the seventh inning, and you'd walk away from the TV. You won that game,
Yep.
and that's just not how it works. So it's been kind of funny watching Jared, my brother, come into the realization that bullpens are human, and that was
Yep.
a complete fluke year.
Yep. One of the best in baseball, and it's hard to maintain that even though the Cleveland bullpen has still been really good.
Mm-hmm. But just
But
not get that good and probably never again that good.
yep. So we're running long this week, so we're gonna jump into weekly predictions, which I don't care that we're running long. It is we're talking, we're having a good time.
Yeah.
So weekly predictions. This last week we're not quite there yet. We know Joe did not get his correct. If the
Yeah.
Tigers win tomorrow, I will still be correct for my week. And as we said earlier, if we guess each game correctly, we'll get plus 2 points. If we guess the week correctly, we'll get +1. If we guess it wrong, we'll get 0. So why don't you start us off with your predictions for next week? I've got the probable matchups here. So Monday, you've got Gavin Williams against the White Sox, and the White Sox got Anthony Kay going.
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea who Anthony Kay is. Gavin Williams had a rough start this week for us, but I mean he's still the big rig. He's still our ace. That will be a win.
Win.
Once again, you're never gonna see me go negative unless it starts getting really bad.
Unless you're playing like the Dodgers and then like I don't know, the Yankees or something.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing the two best teams in the same week, but so you got Tuesday Parker Messick against Sean Burks. Sean Burks is a decent name that he's
Okay.
been okay, I think.
Okay.
Let's see, this year he's 81 innings. He's got a where's it at? 3.89 ERA.
Yeah, not bad at all. But Parker Messick has been absolutely dominant. He is my sneaky Cy Young pick so far this year. Minimum Rookie of the Year. I'm sorry, Kevin McGonigal, but it's going to Parker Messick, and that win is also going to Parker Messick.
Win. Then you finish off the series against Tanner Bybee versus Eric Fetty, and the Tigers just played Fetty and they beat him.
Yeah, last year this would have been the easiest sweep ever. You just stay sweep and don't even give it a second thought. Bybee has been. I'm just gonna say he's been pretty outright bad. His last few starts, he's really picked it up. But the White Sox, I'll assume that they're first in the league for a reason. And I'll give them that win just to cover myself a little bit.
So yeah, I mean it's kind of fair because if you're going for the +1, then you can. Why is there a Kroger ad playing right now? It's loud. Can you hear that?
No, I can't. Luckily,
Okay, well, there's a Kroger ad playing right now, and it's super loud. Anyway, hopefully nobody else can hear it. So you got a bye game next. So then you play Seattle. That's speaking
oh,
of comparisons.
oh, Seattle. Okay. I'm pretty sure they swept us to start the season.
Mm,
I'm pretty sure that's the only time we played them so far this year.
yeah, I think you
Um,
play. That's the max you can play a non-division team is twice.
okay, okay. Seattle has my boy Josh Naylor. Oh gosh, that's painful.
I hate that guy.
What?
I mean, it was a couple weeks ago when we played him, and he was a dirty player against the Tigers. He was a dirty player. Not a fan of Josh
But
Naylor.
if you had him on your team, you would love him with your whole heart. I'm
No,
sure.
I mean, yeah. If I had anybody, if you had Scuba on your team, you'd love him. But you're going against him, so you want to beat him.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah, I mean that's a to quote Terry Scuba from the other week. It's a loser mentality. You want to go out there and beat the guy.
Yeah, yeah, it's fair.
But
Uh, let's
Seattle
see who
has
we
on
got.
Friday. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, that's Milwaukee or Seattle. Seattle's up here. They have Emerson Hancock going on Friday.
Wow, those are scary names.
Logan
I mean,
Gilbert, Chris Kirby.
their whole bullpen is scary names.
Yeah, they're good pitching, really good. And I
Um,
see Tarek Subel linked to them, and I don't know why,
wow,
but yeah,
wow, that would be the nastiest starting rotation in baseball, bar none.
yep.
I'll go ahead. I'll save you some time. I think we're gonna get the win against Emerson, and then I think we're unfortunately gonna lose to both Gilbert and Kirby.
So that would be a prediction of 3-3. So for
Yeah, I don't
me,
like it, but gotta be safe.
yeah, yeah. So for me, the Tigers play the Yankees.
Oh,
Three-game series against the Yankees. Framber Valdez.
oh,
Framber had a good start, and he's going against Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole has come back from injury, and he's looked okay. He hasn't looked great.
yeah, not what you'd expect from Garrett Cole.
Yep, but I think Framber, with being a pitched contact type pitcher, we might lose that game. These volumes are all at home for us, so that
Okay.
helps. Then we got Casey Mize, who would be making his return from the bullpen from the injured list, or he just did that. I don't remember, my days are running together, but he coming back against Carlos Rodon, who I don't know what he's done this year, but he's been a decent pitcher.
Not his best.
Yeah, 3.5 ERA. It's not bad,
Okay. I
but
guess, yeah, all that I know for not Guardians players is what their fantasy numbers tell me, and his
yep,
fantasy numbers haven't been great. So,
yep. So I think Casey Mize, he's been our second best pitcher next to Scooble. So I'm gonna say Casey Mize. We're gonna keep the home track rolling there. And then Scooble on Wednesday. Scooble's winning. I don't care. I'm never predicting Tarek Scooble to lose an outing.
that's fair. Very, very fair.
Thursday, Troy Mountain against Houston. We just played Houston, so we're gonna be at home. Troy Mountain's been a really good starter for us. He pitched today. He went 6 innings, allowed 1 run. He's pitched in, I think, his last 3 outings has been like his last outing before this one. He allowed 4 runs, but before that he allowed like 2 runs, and
Oh,
his
wow.
2 runs or less in his previous
Does that say
three
two?
starts.
Is that a just over 2 ERA? 2.8?
2.81 this year.
That's very good.
Fip's not the great because he doesn't strike out a lot of guys, but he doesn't walk them either. But he's been good. Who does Houston have throwing is my question. Spencer Aggetti. They're probably number 2 I think Troy Mountain might be able to. We're gonna keep a good homestand going.
I
We're gonna
believe
win
that's who
that
the
game.
Guardians have later today, so hopefully we'll destroy him mentally for you guys.
Yep. Fromber coming back, or Kiter Montero. This was we could JV was supposed to start tomorrow. Hamstring injury. 43-year-old
Man.
man. He basically said he said he was going to pitch until the wheels are falling off, and he said the wheels might be falling off.
Oh boy.
So
How much did you
as
guys pay for him this offseason?
it's 11 mil with like 9 deferred. So
Oof.
but so he's made one start. I mean, we love JV. I don't know how I feel. This is probably his last year. I almost guarantee he's gonna retire.
Hmm.
And but that's down the line. We'll talk about JV more. Kiner Montero. He came in for JV when he was hurt at the beginning of the year, and he pitched well. And he moved to the bullpen because JV was supposed to start on Sunday. So he's now started. He pitched on Saturday. No, Friday. He came in and pitched in bullpen, but since he only pitched like 2 innings, he's good to go to start on Sunday today. And he's going to start Friday against who are they throwing on Friday? Spencer Getty. So I had that mixed up. They had a Mai on Thursday.
Oh, Tatsuya Mai finally had a good start last night, unfortunately, into the Guardians.
Kiter's big pitch contact guy. I think we might lose that one. And then Friday or Saturday, Fromber's making his. He had a good start against Houston. The Tigers broadcast brought up a stat about how of like players that have spent at least 8 years on a team, their first start against them, they had like a 9 ERA.
Whew.
And Fromber came in and allowed 1 run in like 6 innings.
Yeah, you figured they had the whole book on you, so it makes sense.
Yep. And they're going against Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown's a really good pitcher.
Yep.
This is tough. This is tough. Being as they just saw Framber and I don't know.
That's a tough call.
So I'm gonna skip it. Sunday, Casey Mize. Casey's gonna win. Casey's gonna win 7.
Are you gonna match me at 3-3?
Well, we don't have a bye week this week, so it would
never
be.
mind.
I think we gotta win. The Tigers need to win. So I think hopefully they can willpower into it and be 5-2 this week.
Yeah,
I'm not
gonna manifest it.
I'm trying to because the Tigers need it. Tigers need it bad. Tigers need to win. If they go 5-2, that puts us in 9 games under 500.
And at this point in the season, every loss is just a step closer to maybe trading that man.
Yep. If they can win, we'll just say 4 games every week up until the trade deadline, that puts you right about 500. Then you never know what happens after that.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my weekly predictions. Do you have anything to finish on for this episode of Beyond the Bunt? Or Swingin Bunt?
If you want to switch back over to my screen real quick, I just had one fun little stat.
I can do that.
Like I was saying earlier, how you could spend hours and hours and hours digging through Baseball Savant. I found this fun stat that I had never heard before, referred to as Sarah Lang's birthday index, which is exactly what you think. It just shows how well a player performs on their birthday. You see, we have Jose Ramirez as a birthday index of 3.2. He has look at the. I mean, the numbers aren't as insane as you see from some other guys. Max Scherzer here,
yeah, that guy's really good.
A plus 0.5 batting average. I hope that's against. Unless this is going back to the pre-DH days and Max Scherzer actually raked on his birthday.
I think it is because it says right in that middle column, hits. He's got 2 hits on his birthday.
Sure enough.
That's crazy.
Sure enough. Yeah, Max Scherzer batted 667 on his birthday.
And he spent half his career, probably less than half at this point, in Detroit. So he wasn't batting when he was in Detroit. So that was when he moved over to the Nationals.
Wasted opportunity there.
Yeah, must have been.
But yeah, this is a really great stat that I found today. Maybe my stat of the day for Sarah Lang's birthday index. If you want to see how good your favorite player performs on their birthday, go give it a look. Keep digging through Baseball Savant, find yourself some fun new stats. It's not nerdy, I promise. It's fun.
Yeah, yeah. So this episode went about an hour 15 or so. It's went a little longer than what we did last time, and I'm not. It is what it is.
Yeah, I'm not
Longer than we
complaining.
want, but yeah,
We had a
it's not.
long intro. Our segments, at least our Beyond the Bunts, went a little longer. But hey, if y'all are listening, then what's to
Yeah,
complain?
we're gonna keep the content rolling out, and me and Joe will be bringing some of the stuff. Like I catch myself in the middle of the day or talking to Joe, and we hang out. Like, yeah, you know what? I gotta save that for the podcast. Can't bring it up because I was gonna talk about how the Blue Jays lead every category in All-Star voting, but I knew I wanted to bring it up, so I had to save that. But we'd be talking about this stuff anyway, so we're
Yeah,
recording it and having a good time doing it.
might as well. Might as well. As
So
always, let us know how you think, what we can change, what you like, what you don't like. If you know us personally, let us know. If you don't, let us know in the comments.
yeah, you can find us on YouTube and Spotify. I'm debating about putting up a Twitter page, X page, whatever you refer to it as
Nobody
nowadays.
calls it X.
Nobody calls it X, but I was looking into maybe starting that up. But you can find us on YouTube at Swingin Bunt, a baseball podcast, and you can find us the same place on Spotify. You can find Spotify in the description, and in the YouTube channel, you can find Spotify and all that good stuff. So that's episode 2, and we'll see you for episode 3 in
Yep.
about a week or so.
We appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys as always. Swing hard. Whatever happens, happens.